Hello everybody, Cat Matt here, and if you've been watching some of the videos, you know now that I write for HeartlandOutdoors.com, Heartland Outdoors magazine, where you can find all the information at HeartlandOutdoors.com. Coming up in the November issue, if you page through here, kind of thumb through the magazine, you're going to get in here not too far, and you're going to see this article. My article this month is on winter channel cats. It's a nice little picture of Dave Geary there. For those of you that know me fairly close, you know how much I love to catch channel cats in the winter. Not a big fan of chasing them during the summer. I'd rather be chasing flatheads, but during the winter months it's great. So without reading the article, I wanted to give some of you that are cool enough to follow us on Facebook and YouTube and the CatfishAcademy.com website, I wanted to give you a few tips that can help you. Number one, if you've ever seen these in the store, these little worm boxes, the flip side, and you looked at them and thought, get one of these, man. I use these every year. You know, after you open the top, you got worms there, you dig for them a little bit, what do? They all go to the other side. Well, with this, you just flip it right over, and you got worms again, okay? Real nice. Plus, it insulates your worms on bitter cold days. It keeps them warm enough. Nothing will happen to them. You can just bring it in the house when you come home, take it downstairs, sit it wherever you're going to sit it, whatever. You've got worms for the next times it'll carry over, so you don't have to ruin your bait. That's if you're using worms. Okay, preferred baits for winter channel catfishing. It varies from year to year. I've been doing this a long time, and I found that certain years one bait always stands out over the others, and it's very rarely the same thing 2 years in a row. It can be anything from red worms or night crawlers to cheese bait, which G&S cheese bait for me all the way. It can be shad. Some years it's got to be the shad bodies, some years it's got to be the shad heads. I've had great success one year using minnows soaked in cat juice, where it seemed like for a period of 3 or 4 weeks that's all they wanted. The list goes on and on. Shad guts is another one that you'll hear a lot of people talk about. Shad guts is also a great option. So early in the season, and I'm talking early in the season, I'm talking once the water drops below 40, I carry a lot of baits in the boat with me when I go. So that's one of your tips. Be diverse, carry a lot of different choices with you, narrow it down to the best 1 or 2, and you're good to go for the rest of the winter. Okay, number 3, please, please, please do not launch your boat underneath ice jams. In other words, if you are fishing in a stretch of river and there is an ice jam above the ramp you're going to put in and there's no dam between you and that ice jam, do not put your boat in. I don't care if you say, well, I'm 20 miles downriver. Ice travels when it breaks free, ice jams. I don't know if you've ever been on a river when they break free, but when they break free, it's like an avalanche. And if you're below them, you're not going to get out of the way. You're going to turn around, see this wall of ice coming, and you're going to be lucky to live or lucky to not lose a bunch of other things along the way. So please find a dam and fish the open water from the dam down. Okay? Don't ever launch when there's nothing between you and an ice jam. And I know that sounds, well, you're saying, well, duh. Well, it happens a lot every year, so what do you do? Okay. Tackle. Keep your tackle light in the winter. The early in the winter, early months, like now, I think tomorrow's December 1st, this last day in November, the water temperature here is about 34, 35. The bite is very, very light. I mean, when I mean light, I mean very, very light. Just backwards of early in the year, or backwards what most people would think, they would think that would just continue to get lighter, but that's not what happens. As these fish tighten up into groups and the area becomes more void of food, they will not move looking for food. But when you know where the fish are and you put the food in front of their face, they begin to hit it more aggressively. As the winter goes on, they become more hungry and more hungry. So keep tabs on where your winter fish are. I gave a lot of tips in the Heartland Outdoors magazine on what to look for in wintering holes. Once you find these fish, they'll stay there. Some tips I did not mention in there. When the water becomes crystal clear, the deepest part of the hole will be the best part of the hole. You can spook the school, which means the school will move. You can fish 15 feet from a school of 1,000 fish and not catch one. So being right on them fish is very, very important. You can sit there and think the fish aren't biting or that they're not there, when yet they were 15 feet this way. So be very careful in clear water in the winter. Once you find your fish, man, just have a ball. So that's another tip that you need to keep your mind about. Also, don't take any shortcuts when it comes to staying warm. I take my ice fishing heaters, I take the little squeezy hand warmers with me, dress like a grizzly bear, whatever you got to do. People that know, we fish in blizzards up here in the north, we fish in snowstorms or sleet storms, just about everything. The people up here in the north, we're diehard catfishermen, so dress the part, man. You can't put it on if you don't take it with you, so it's better to have too much than not enough. Size of your bait and size of your tackle. There's times during the winter when the bite really starts to progress into January or February where you can start expanding your bait selection, your size. You can use bigger cuts of shad, bigger shad heads, bigger globs of shad guts, night crawlers, where you can go from using a size 1 or a size 2 hook to using a 1-aught or a 2-aught hook. You just kind of pay attention to the way the bite is. If you're really stuffing a small hook, a size 2 or a size 1, really stuffing it with redworms, and the bite's really aggressive, well, you can go up a couple sizes and you're not going to hurt a thing as long as your redworms are thick enough to thread onto the shank of whatever hook you go up to. That's your biggest problem with redworms. But night crawlers, shad, all that stuff, shad guts, go as big as if they'll swallow a glob of shad guts this big, you can easily use a 1 or a 2-aught hook. So, adjust your hook size to your bait size, and everything's cool. Also, bottom dwellers tackle. I tell you what, the sinker slide, as diverse and as great of a tool as it is so nice during the winter, because there's a lot of times when you want to walk baits downstream. There's a lot of times when you want to throw them to the side and you don't want them to move. Man, do the sinker slides that Bottom Dwellers, David Bottom Dwellers makes, man, do they help you in that area. No cutting line and retying. Man, you're just popping a new sinker on there, changing your style if you want to, changing your size. This is the one time of the year where I like to use a lot of the bank sinkers. Being able to lift up a small bank sinker and let the current, at the same time releasing your spool and letting the bait settle a foot back. Okay, because like I said, sometimes the school will shift. Okay, so you can go looking for the fish, and it helps to be able to change sinker size on the spot, unclip, new sinker, boom, you're good to go. David Bottom Dwellers, give him a call. No better time of the year for my money anyway. I know during flood season and stuff it comes in real handy too. So there's some tips. The last tip I'm going to give you on wintertime channel catfishing: don't put your cheese bait away. GNS cheese bait works all year round. I took Dave Geary with me last year. The problem with cheese bait in the winter is people do not like to sit there and work it to keep it soft enough. And okay, well, I found you can mix a little oil with that, cat juice, whatever. That oil will really help keep it soft so you don't have to work it all the time. Cheese bait is every bit as effective in the winter as it is in the summer. I'm not saying that because somebody told me. I'm saying that because Dave Geary actually, and you can see the pictures on the website, actually got out and fished with me several times during the cold of the winter last year, and that's exactly what we did it for. We wanted to see how it would do. We had a hunch that it would work fine, and it far exceeded that. So don't put your cheese bait away. Anyway, thank you guys for a great 2010. Looking forward to a great 2011. I want to wish you all happy holidays. I hope all your wishes come true, and you get everything you want, and you get out catfishing especially. So we'll be right here with you, and we will see you next time, somewhere, somehow, on some body of water. We'll be scheduling a little trip to Powhatan here in January, bank fishing. We're going to have a little spring fling camping trip down here on the Rock River. We got a lot coming up. Cabela's schedule. Got a bunch of tournaments up here in northern Illinois. We'll see you on the water somewhere. Have a good Christmas. We'll see you.